We're back for our daily MLB Best Bets here on Tuesday, September 2nd. We got September off to the right start yesterday. A positive day. Looking for more of the same here, again, for the second day of the month. Now, before we get into the video, folks, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for some more daily MLB Best Bets here on the channel. We've got a lot of content going up here on both of our channels this week, starting with our college football predictions that were posted yesterday. Guys, it is the longest video on my channel ever, over 3.5 hours long of college football predictions. Yeah, it's insane, but make sure to check that out. That is linked in the description down below. Also, go make sure to check out our NFL predictions posted on this channel later today, probably 4 p.m. Pacific, somewhere around there. And on Greedo Plays MMA this week, we've got our Contender Series predictions. That is later today for week number 4 of Dana White's Contender Series, and our UFC pairs predictions with Nasruddin Imavov and Kyle Borjayo in the main event in the middleweight division. Again, all of those videos will be linked in the description down below, and go subscribe to Greedo Plays MMA if you have not yet. Okay, on to the first of our 5 best bets today for Major League Baseball as we kick things off with our first money line of the day, taking the New York Metropolitans to win on the road. Guys, Nolan McLean is kind of a cheat code right now. It's crazy how the Mets just pulled this guy out. I mean, I know he's been one of their high-ranked prospects for a while, but Nolan McLean has been so good so far as the Metropolitan. He's pitched 20 and a third innings, he's given up 10 hits and 2 runs. And in 2 of those outings, he hasn't given up a single run. So again, 3 starts so far in the career of the righty out of Willow Spring, North Carolina. He's got a 3-0 record with a .89 ERA. First start at home against the Seattle Mariners, he goes 5 1/3 innings, 2 hits and 0 runs. Then he goes to Atlanta, pitches 7 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs, gets the victory. And then his last start against the Philadelphia Phillies in Queens, 8 innings, 4 hits, 0 runs, en route to a 6-0 victory for the Metropolitans. And again, it feels like a pretty good bet when I pick the Mets, because I hope this team loses every single game they ever play, all right? I think the Mets should take this one, though. Again, it's a combination of the fact that Nolan McLean has been just that good. I think this is something that's going to continue. I am going to buy into the hype here. And Sawyer Gipson-Long is starting today for the Detroit Tigers. This is a guy who got sent down back to the minor leagues. He's made 1 appearance since his return back to the bigs, and that was on August 13th. I think he got sent back down again, came back up, made 1 appearance, then got sent back down to, where's Toledo, I believe, is their AAA, I think. The Mud Hens, if I'm not mistaken. I could be very wrong there. But Sawyer Gipson-Long has made a couple starts this year. That was early in the season in June. Again, gets sent down to AAA, comes back, and sent right back down. He's back now in the Major League roster, I assume, with the expansion to the 28-man rosters for September. 4.32 ERA in the season for Sawyer Gipson-Long. And not a guy that's going to wow you. He can go, and I assume because he's starting this game, they are going to have him pitch 5 or 6 innings if they can get him there, obviously. Don't love it. You know, look at yesterday's outcome between the Mets and the Tigers. New York wins the baseball game 10-8, right? Starting pitchers yesterday were Charlie Morton for the Tigers and then Sean Manaea for New York. So we expected a lot of runs in that game. That's exactly what happened, right? New York wins the shootout 10-8 in Detroit against the Tigers. Detroit falls behind early with the Juan Soto grand slam. Tigers get back into it, but eventually, right, Mets are able to pull away and end up winning the game 10-8. We need Soto to continue to have nights like that, at least for us tonight. Soto yesterday, 2 for 3 again with a grand slam and 6 RBI in total. And the Mets win 10-8 yesterday without Francisco Lindor and Pete Alonso getting ahead. Those guys combined went 0 for 7. And it's just weird the Mets lineup works. Like, everyone is still batting within that 270 to 240 range. There's really no exceptions. Lindor bats 267. Alonso bats 267. Nimmo bats 263. Juan Soto bats 257. Jeff McNeil bats 259. Mark Vientos bats 240. Brett Beatty bats 249. Everybody's in the same range with New York. It's an odd situation. And are they going anywhere in the playoffs? Probably not. I'm a little bit concerned today about the bullpen because they had to use so many guys yesterday because obviously, right, Sean Manaea is not going to go deep into a start. That's not a reliable arm you can, again, have going for you. Manaea yesterday only goes 3 2/3 innings, gives up 5 runs and 8 hits in those 3 2/3. You have to see so many relievers yesterday out of the Mets. Gregory Soto, Ryan Stanek, Tyler Rogers, Ryan Helsley, Brooks Raley, Edwin Diaz. All these guys have to come out in relief. And sure, most of these guys should be able to pitch yet again. But I just don't love it again. A lot of these Mets relievers are coming off of having to pitch yesterday. Not like Detroit had to use, Detroit had to use a lot of their bullpen as well, as Charlie Morton only went 3 2/3. They had to use Rafael Montero. They had to use Sommers. They had to use Taylor Melton. They had to use Hanafi. there were a lot of relievers used on both sides. And I get it, right? Detroit scores 8 runs yesterday and has 14 hits, starting with Charlie Morton on the bump, who looked more like the dinosaur form that he showed in Baltimore earlier in the season. Detroit's lineup, though, still for me isn't wowing me right now. Yeah, they're 21 games over 500. They're a good baseball team. Recently, they have not been that great. You look at what Detroit's done recently, again, extending on to that A's series last week. I mean, they lose in Sacramento to the A's. They get swept there. They win 2 of 3 against the Royals, but I don't know. They lose this first game to New York, and the Mets, to me, right now are hitting the baseball fairly well. I think the Metropolitans have kind of figured it out. I know they lost the last 2 against the Marlins, but they had that sweep against the Phils. I think the Mets are all right, and especially on top of that, too, Nolan McLean's gone. I'm going to buy in on the hype right now. I do believe he is that good. Edwin Diaz is available, by the way. He did not pitch on Sunday's game, so we should be okay for the most part there. Detroit's lineup, to me, it doesn't wow me, especially with a guy in Nolan McLean who can go in there and seriously just shut you down. I'm going to buy into the hype for the 24-year-old rookie. I'm going Nolan McLean and the New York Metropolitans to win today at Comerica Park in Detroit, Michigan. Minus 130 is the money line for the Mets, and I do believe they're going to go out there and get it done, so give me the Mets. On now to our second best bet of the video, we move to our Washington Nationals best bet of the day. I'm going with the under today, all right? We're going with the under at 9 runs in the Washington Nationals versus Miami Marlins game. And I know what you might be thinking, or if you've seen the pitching matchup today, it's Adam Mazur and Cade Cavalli. Now, I'm still a believer in Cade. I'm going to, shout out to the Cade bros the Cavalli bros out there. We still believe, right? We still believe in Cavalli. Last start for Cade, the worst of his career, right? Against the New York Yankees over in that Mickey Mouse Stadium. Cavalli goes out there, and pitches 2 1/3 innings, gives up 8 hits and 8 runs. It's horrible, right? But everything Cavalli had done prior to that start in the Bronx was excellent. He came into that start with a 2.82 ERA, and obviously now it has since ballooned to 5.11 because of the effects of playing at Yankee Stadium. But Cavalli as a whole has been really good this season. You combine that with the fact that the Marlins could not score yesterday, right? Shout out to Andrew Alvarez in his major league debut. He goes 5 shutout innings, the first time a Washington Nationals pitcher has ever done that in his debut. And on top of that, he was pitching to CJ Stubbs, who's making his MLB debut behind the plate as well. I would not expect a lot of runs today out of either team. Saw the Marlins yesterday get shut out and only have 2 hits. On the flip side, the Nationals had 3 hits. They were all, or 2 of them came in the bottom of the second inning, with Dalen Lyle and Luis Garcia scoring the only 2 runs of the game and Andres Chaparro knocking one in as well. But I think both teams right now can't hit the baseball. The Nats hitting-wise have just been atrocious. Do I think they win? They might. Adam Mazur, again, it's a limited sample size. He's made 2 career starts this season. I think did he start a game last year? I think he did start some last year. But, no, he started against the Nationals, I think, at one point. Yeah, he did. I believe he beat the Nationals last year. But 2 starts this season, 1 against the Phils, 5 2/3 innings, 5 hits, 4 runs. Mets, 4 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs. Again, I can throw that all out the window. You're facing the Phils and the Mets, the 2 best teams in the division. Now you got to face the Washington Nationals. Who on the Nationals right now is hitting the ball well? Dalen Lyle? End of story? Yeah, I mean, legitimately, nobody's hitting the ball well for the Nats. Yes, they get out of yesterday with the victory, so shout out to us, right? Picking Nationals money line to win the game and breaking the 8-game losing streak. But the Nats have just been that atrocious to the plate. And Cade Cavalli, I think, is going to really deal with this Miami lineup that obviously is missing their all-star in Kyle Stowers. It's more than manageable for Cavalli, and I think Cade is due for a bounce-back start tonight, and I just think Adam Mazur has a good start for the Marlins just because of how pathetic the Nationals' bats are. And I don't want to call James Wood pathetic, but I got to talk about it. Because, again, we talk about the Nationals every day, and the James Wood situation is horrible right now. Guys, James Wood yesterday goes 0 for 4 at 3 strikeouts. And now on the season, that is 185 total, and now he is only 38 strikeouts away from breaking the single-season record for most strikeouts in 1 year, obviously, by Mark Reynolds. He's still got 24 games to go, and he needs 38 strikeouts to break the all-time record. How did we ruin James Wood? And sure, he still bats like in the mid-250s. Guys, a couple months ago, we were talking about MVP votes for James Wood in 2025. He's hit, 2 home runs since the All-Star break? 1 or 2? I mean, I don't know what happened. He's hit 2, I believe. 1 in San Francisco and then 1 at Nats Park. It's bad. And his plate approach, I don't know, again, Darnell Coles needs to be fired. That, first of all, right? We cannot screw up a generational product like James Wood. But you know what this does mean, by the way? Buy low in the offseason, okay? I'd still give James Wood $500 million, 15 seasons. Easily. I would do it. I don't care how atrocious he's looked right now. If James Wood scams us of $35 million a year for the next 15 years, okay. Boris would still, even though he's been an all-time slump, would tell him to decline the contract. I'm giving James Wood that deal right now. I'd give him 600 over 15 right now. I would happily do that. He's going to figure it out eventually, I would hope. But the first thing that needs to happen is you fire Darnell Coles. Because James Wood, his plate approaches are horrible. He'll get up to the plate. He will likely stare at 2 strikes down the middle. And then he'll swing at a ball on strike 3. His 2-strike approach is absolutely horrible right now. It's just a shame. On top of that, lefty-lefty matchups for James Wood just aren't going all that well right now. I thought the leadoff spot was going to help him, and it sure did. Just a month ago in San Francisco, and we were thinking, okay, it fixed Bryce Harper at one point, it fixed Kyle Schwarber at one point. I don't really know if it's doing the same for Wood. I think another big part of this, and it has to be stated, it's just the lack of winning baseball games. Oh yeah, we win yesterday. Shout out to the Nats breaking the 8-game losing streak. But the fact that, he's never seen winning baseball in DC, I know that hasn't affected really CJ Abrams all that much. And Dylan Cruz is trying to change the culture. They talk about it every day on Masson, but has to mean something, right? You show up to the ballpark every day and your team's 30 games under 500. I just want James Wood to get it figured out, because first half of the season, James Wood, I truly don't think there was a better player in baseball. He was just that good, and he was unpitchable. Now, he looks like one of the most, I don't want to say worst, but he looks like one of the most lost hitters at the plate right now in the league. He'll figure it out, but man, is it concerning? 100%. And I put all the blame on Darnell Coles and our coaching staff. Anyways, we're going with the under today, and that's a big reason, right? James Wood's not going to be able to do anything today, because nobody on the Nats hits the baseball that well. Maybe we'll get a CJ Abrams solo shot. Josh Bell might run into one. Dylan Cruz will probably, have 2 or 3 singles, but is anybody going to bring him in? Probably not. All right, I'm going with the under today. Under 9, it's at -115. To our third best bet of the video, we go to our nerfy. Is this the same exact graphic I used yesterday? It is. For the 4th time in the last, 6 days, I'm going with the Boston Red Sox nerfy. I know it's a lot. 4 times out of 5 days, it's a lot. I love this play. I just do. Last week, or 2 weeks ago, we had Slate Sassoni in a nerfy. It was actually Nathan Eovaldi's last start of the season in Texas. And Slate Sassoni, Nathan Eovaldi came through for us. They got 6 outs to start off the day. And I know, again, I keep going back to the well on Boston Red Sox nerfies. I completely understand. And yesterday, the nerfy did not hit. It is what it is, right? The Parker Messick Linsanity run, I guess, is over. He only gave up three runs, but gave up 9 hits and 3 runs in 3 2/3 innings. And obviously, right, it was a balk that scored Roman Anthony in the bottom of the first before Romy Gonzalez knocked in Alex Bregman to obviously the nerfy was already over with the Roman Anthony scoring. Anyways, I'm going with another Red Sox nerfy. Okay, and here's the deal with this. Again, this is not because I hate the Red Sox lineup. I think their offense sucks. No, it's not that. It's just their pitching's that good. So this is, if anything, this is a compliment to Boston, to the point where, okay, I think they're, Garrett Crochet's not giving up a run in the first inning. Now, Stephen Kwan, that's yesterday was a Stephen Kwan game, right? 3 for 5 at the plate. That's what he does. And, obviously the biggest takeaway and the biggest story out of that Red Sox-Guardians game yesterday was the Trevor Story home run that was hit 306 feet. Legitimately the shortest home run in the modern era. 306-foot home run for Trevor Story. It's insane. It goes off of the glove of Jokenzie Noel. I'm pretty sure it was Noel in right field. It goes off of Noel's glove and bounces off of the foul pole, and it's a pesky pull home run. You can hit a 305-foot home run at Fenway Park. It still will never be as Mickey Mouse's Yankee Stadium, though. Anyways, that happens. You look at the matchup today, though, right? Garrett Crochet versus Slade Sassoni, right? You get a righty in Sassoni and a southpaw in Crochet. I'm not concerned at all with Garrett Crochet. Okay, Stephen Kwan goes 3 for 5 yesterday, due for a little bit of regression today. I understand he can be that good, and obviously he's a back-to-back All-Star at this point, but I'm going to take Crochet on that matchup. It's lefty-lefty. It's really difficult. Okay. Daniel Schneemann in the 2. Okay. I'm supposed to be scared of Daniel Schneemann. I'm not, right? Oh, actually, no, Schneemann will not be that high because the lefty's going. That means it's going to be probably Kyle Manzardo. No, he bets lefty too. I'm tripping. They're going to go David Fry, won't they? They'll probably go David Fry, then J-Ram. Seriously? Am I supposed to be concerned about this? No. Okay. J-Ram, yes, he's a problem. He went 0 for yesterday. I will side with one of the best pitchers in baseball and the guy who is neck and neck right now for the American League Cy Young race with Tarek Skubal. I'll side with Garrett Crochet. I'm not going to be too concerned about that. 4th best ERA out of all qualified starters in Major League Baseball this season at 2.4. Last start against the Orioles, 6 innings, 6 hits, 2 runs. Yeah, Crochet's just that good. Got himself out of so many jams last week, by the way, at Camden Yards. Flip side, Slate Sony's going for the Cleveland Guardians, right? A guy who came through for us with the nerfy a couple weeks ago. Last start against the Tampa Bay Rays, not horrible. 6 innings, 6 hits, 3 runs. What Sony is serviceable. He's not going to be a high-end guy. He's just going to be a middle of rotation guy, I would expect for most of his career, and he'll make a very good Major League career, obviously, out of himself. Top of the lineup for Boston is concerning. I get that. Yesterday, Roman Anthony has 2 hits. Alex Bregman has a double in the first inning to, again, send Roman Anthony to third base. Trevor Story goes 3 for 4, hits that Mickey Mouse home run in the 6th inning. There are guys, obviously, in the Boston lineup that you should be concerned about. The way I look at this, though, Slate Sony's actually been pretty good in his last 2 starts. He's been more than good. On top of that, we know Garrett Crochet is getting 3 outs, and I know, again, the top of the Cleveland lineup can be concerning at times. I don't care. I know Crochet is going to get 3 outs. And I think, again, well, we know, as we look at the odds for this, minus 130, we know Crochet is getting 3 outs. I can almost guarantee that. Crochet is going to get out the top of the first inning without giving up a run. So, are you willing to play Slade Sony to get 3 outs in the bottom of the first inning against Roman Anthony, Alex Bregman, and Trevor Story? Probably Jarren Duran, actually, in the 3, Story in the 4. I'm still willing to take my chances. I'm more than okay with that. I believe we're going to hit on our nerfy today at Fenway Park. Minus 130. Yes, I just reused the graphic from yesterday, and I can almost guarantee you tomorrow I will pick a different nerfy other than this. Just because, yeah, I mean, we've been picking Red Sox nerfies too much. Like, they eventually are going to continue to hit in the first inning, right? Maybe I'll test my luck tomorrow with a Aaron Nola, Jose Quintana nerfy. Just kidding, definitely not. Anyways, give me the nerfy today at Fenway between the Guards and the Sox. On to our 4th best bet of the video. Let's go to our best player prop of the day. Let's go to the matchup being played at Busch Stadium. St. Louis Cardinals versus the Sacramento Athletics. I'm going to go with Brent Rooker over 1.5 total bags against Unk out of Jupiter, Florida, Miles Mikolas. Mikolas hasn't been good this season. He hasn't been good this year at all. If you're interested in the historical matchup between Mikolas and Brent Rooker, they have faced off twice. Brent Rooker had 1 hit for a single. He's 1 for 2. Okay, with a walk in there as well. So 3 total plate appearances, 1 for 2 with a walk. So a 667 OBP so far for Brent Rooker against Miles Mikolas. Now, Mikolas' last start is actually pretty good, albeit it's against those low league, horrible at times Pittsburgh Pirates. Goes 5 innings, 4 hits, 1 run. Let's not forget what Mikolas did in his last 4 starts prior to that, though. 10 hits, 5 runs, 2 2/3 innings, 10 hits, 5 runs, 4 earned against the Tampa Bay Rays in Tampa. Yankees, 5 innings, 4 hits, 3 runs. Rockies, actually a decent start, 6 2/3, 4 hits, 2 runs, but that's in St. Louis, so it's expected. And then in Los Angeles, I mean, yikes, 3 innings, 7 hits, 5 runs for Mikolas. His ERA in the month of August was 6.04. His ERA in the month of July was 5.06. His ERA in the month of June was 6.58. And you might be thinking, well, what's his ERA? Yeah, it's 5. So not a very good Major League pitcher is Miles Mikolas in 2025, right? The only team he's ever pitched well against this season is the Washington Nationals as they faced off against him for 11 innings and got 1 run in 11 innings. I can't take it. Sorry, I had to get that one off my chest. Because every time I think of Miles Mikolas in 2025, that's what I think of. Anyways, I'm very confident in Brent Rooker today, okay? Very confident in Brent Rooker. This is... I don't even know if I can say he's the best hitter on the A's because they have so many guys. Obviously, Jacob Wilson's fallen off a little bit, and Nick Kurtz, the rookie, obviously, the rookie of the year, has been so electric for the Athletics all season long. But Brent Rooker had a good August, right? 257 average, but 4 home runs, 17 RBI. You're going to take that out of Brent Rooker. Last game against the Rangers at Sutter Health Park went 0 for 4, but prior to that, at a game that I attended on Saturday night, Brent Rooker had 7 total bags, a homer, a double, and a single. That's what he's capable of. And that's off a very competent pitcher and a pitcher who's been around for a while, a veteran, and unk like Miles Mikolas and Merrill Kelly on Saturday again against the Rangers. Game before that against Texas on the 29th of August, Brent Rooker goes 1 for 3 with the double, right? I mean, there is potential here. Games being played at St. Louis, that doesn't really change too much. I mean, obviously, we'd much rather the game being played in Sacramento, ball fly, small park. We talk about it all the time. I don't mind this, though. I don't. It's in St. Louis, and Mikolas is extremely hittable, and he's not a guy that's going to really punch you out in 2025. I mean, his last start against the Pirates, sure, he had 5 strikeouts because the Pirates are incompetent at the plate. Look at his last 4 starts prior to that and how many strikeouts he had. 1 strikeout against the Rays, 1 strikeout against the Yankees, 3 against the Rockies, and 1 against the Dodgers. I mean, of course, he had 6 against the Washington Nationals, but it's not a guy who's going to punch you out. He's a pitch-to-contact guy, and if you give a hitter like Brent Rooker that opportunity, yeah, I firmly believe that he's going to take advantage, and I think he's going to make the most out of it. Put the ball in the gap, potentially put the ball out of there. Right? There's not much experience as a whole for the Athletics against Miles Michaelis. I think Rooker has an at-bat. Butler probably has an at-bat. I know Shea Langeliers has hit before off of Miles Michaelis. So for the most part, a new matchup for both teams, or both lineup and starting pitcher tonight, and that's okay. I think Brent Rooker is going to come through. Again, ball will not fly as much here as it will in Sacramento, I understand. But I do believe Brent Rooker does probably hit a double tonight, maybe even a home run. And, truth be told, I don't even mind A's money line all that much today. It's not a better bet than the final bet we have today, and that one's a little complicated, so I'll explain in a second. But A's is minus 105 underdogs technically in St. Louis with Luis Severino and Miles Michaelis going. That's not a bad matchup. Severino, we've always talked about, pitches better away from Sutter Health Park in Sacramento than he does, at Sacramento. So I don't know. I think A's money line is playable today, but the best bet obviously in this game is 100% Brent Rooker. I think he's going to get 1.5 total bags today, or 2 total bags against Miles Michaelis, who can't punch anybody out and is a pitch-to-contact pitcher at 37 years of age. Give me Brent Rooker and the A's to come through for us today. As we move on to our final best bet of the video, let's get one of the night games going. Let's go to Chase Field. It is a rematch of the 2023 World Series between the Texas Rangers and the Arizona Diamondbacks. Now, I'm recording this video at 11:30 at night, a little bit earlier than I usually record these videos. There's no odds. No odds just yet for this game, and we don't know who's starting today for the Texas Rangers. I believe this is supposed to be, is this a Valdi spot in the rotation? I think it is. No, it is not a Valdi spot. They've already fixed a Valdi spot in the rotation, but I think originally this was supposed to be him, because they went with Jacob Latz, I believe, last time in the rotation, and that was obviously just an opener. Probably going to see a bullpen game here today. Not really against that. I'm not. I think, again, a bullpen day in Arizona is not the worst. I don't think the Rangers have said at all who they're going to. It is Jacob Latz, probably. Okay. No, the Rangers PR team at 10 o'clock tonight just said Jacob Latz is the probable starting pitcher. It's okay. Like, I'm not affected by that. So here's the thing. At 11:30, there's no odds, right? So I'm assuming it's going to be even just because Latz hasn't been great. He's not a front-end guy for Texas. Arizona, obviously, the Snakes, they're the answer backs, right? Like, there's potential there. Obviously, Lourdes Gurriel Jr. yesterday with the knee injury has to get carted off the field in Phoenix. That's really brutal, and it sucks, and that's another big hit to this Arizona lineup, right? You trade Eugenio Suarez, you trade Josh Naylor, and now Lourdes Gurriel is probably, I'd be very surprised if he's not out for the rest of 2025. So with Jacob Latz here, this is fine. Latz is going to be used as nothing but an opener, and he's an opener that can go 5 innings. And in his last outing, Jacob Latz was all right. He goes 4 1/3 against the Angels. This is a game that the Rangers ended up winning 20-3 at home. But anyways, Jacob Latz in that game was more than serviceable. 4 1/3 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs. Okay. And I think once we get past Jacob Latz in the game, then of course we look to the bullpens, we look at, situational matchups, and I think that's going to be okay for Texas. I firmly believe that. Arizona, guys, is starting Nabil Crismat. Okay, Nabil Crismat in 2025 is not beating us. I say us like I'm a Rangers fan. I'm not. But this Linsanity Mickey Mouse run at a Nabil Crismat is not real, okay? 3 starts so far in 2025. Technically, he's listed as a reliever, but he's making starts, okay? He's doing 5-inning openers, okay? That's a starting pitcher. Nabil Crismat so far in 2025, 3 starts in the month of August, 1.84 ERA. 5 innings, 3 hits, 1 run in Colorado against the Rockies. Shocking. 4 innings, 4 hits, 0 runs against the Cincinnati Reds. Not too surprising. And then in Milwaukee, this is more like it. 5 2/3 innings, 8 hits, 4 runs. However, only 2 of them were earned. Nabil Crismat's not going to put you away with strikes, most likely not. He had 2 strikeouts and 85 pitches in 5 2/3 innings against Milwaukee. And sure, that's an elite lineup in baseball. I understand. Nabil Crismat's not beating the Texas Rangers today. Guys, Texas's lineup, by the way, and look at the winning streak that they're on, right? 6 straight victories. They have now won 9 out their last 10. Don't know entirely where they are at in the postseason hunt right now. I believe they're only a couple games back, right? Texas is a game and a half out. Okay, guys, this is playable all the way up to minus 140, I think, today. Legitimately. Again, I am guesstimating on the odds here with it being minus 110 on both sides. Yeah, this is playable up to minus 140. Oh, it is. I think, again, we're going to get a decent enough start out of Jacob Latz. I think he'll be fine in opening. On top of that, Nabil Chrismat, he's going to get blown up today. Guys, the D-backs have won 6 consecutive games. Again, 9 out their last 10. They sweep the Athletics in Sacramento. They win the first game in Arizona in 10 innings, right? It's a gutsy performance out of Patrick Corbin in his old stomping grounds in Arizona. Texas wins it with 2 runs scored on an infield single by Ozuna in the top of the 10th inning. They have to come back from behind. They enter the top of the 9th down 3-5. Jake Berger, it's a triple of all people, and then he's knocked in right after by Cody Freeman. We've spoken at length this season about how bad the bats are for the Rangers. Oh, it's not horrible right now. The Rangers are playing good baseball and everybody's hitting. It's weird. Like Josh Smith is hitting fairly well. Wyatt Langford's hitting the ball. Jock, still not hitting the ball that well. Dylan Moore, they're platooning Jock Peterson and Dylan Moore. Horrible. Adolis Garcia is serviceable. Rowdy Tellez, some nights. Jake Berger's probably better, but again, that's a platoon spot. Josh Young, Kyle Higashioka. Cody Freeman's been good since being called up to the major leagues, right? Texas has been better. And here's the thing, too, why I like Texas so much. Facing an Arizona starter that's not Zach Gallen, it's not a Brandon Pfaadt, it's not a Ryan Nelson. I know those guys haven't been great this season, but guys that, at the very least for Arizona, are going to go out there and eat innings. Nabil Chrismat, the max he's gone this year is 5 2/3 innings. That means you have to see at least 4 or 3 innings of that Arizona Diamondbacks bullpen, which has been well stated, one of the worst in baseball, only behind, I do believe, potentially the Marlins, Nationals, and Rockies in no order. Those are the only 3 I can think of, I think, that are worse. I think the White Sox actually have a better bullpen as well. Maybe not. But, right, their bullpen is so horrible. If you can get to that, you're probably in a good spot. And, again, with Chris Matt not going deep into games, I think we're fine. And the way Texas is hitting the ball right now, everybody's, taking good approaches at the plate. Here we go, guys. Texas a game and a half out of the Seattle Mariners. Guys, Seattle's so talented. They're so loaded. They've got Kyle Raleigh, who's an MVP candidate. They made their moves to go out and get Josh Naylor, get Eugenio Suarez from Arizona, and yet they're only a game and a half above the Texas Rangers, who are very injured, without Corey Seager for the rest of the season, without Marcus Semien, without Nathan Eovaldi, and yet the Rangers are only a game and a half out. I mean, how pathetic are the Seattle Mariners? We saw that yesterday when they couldn't go on the road to Tampa and even score a run. That's what the Mariners deserve. They're keeping everybody alive in the playoff hunt. And beyond that for Texas, guys, the Rangers are only 4.5 games out of the AL West. They're probably not going to win that. It's going to be Houston. But they're right there in the postseason hunt. Now, don't get me wrong. Would I rather watch the Mariners in the playoffs? Probably. They're more fun. But good on Texas. Go get them. I'm taking the Rangers today to beat the Arizona Diamondbacks. Don't know entirely what the odds are just yet. I believe the Rangers are going to continue to chase down the Mariners. We'll see if Seattle wins today in their own right, as they're sitting Brian Wu versus Drew Rasmussen. That's a potential loss for them. Guys, Texas, by the end of the day today, could be a game and a half out of the postseason with less than a month to go. I'm taking Texas Rangers money line today in Phoenix, Arizona against the Arizona Diamondbacks. Again, don't know the odds, but give me Texas. Folks, thank y'all for watching our MLB Best Bets here on Tuesday, September 2nd. If you haven't yet, though, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy the video. Make sure to comment if you do disagree with any of the picks. We'll be back tomorrow for more daily MLB Best Bets. Go make sure to check out our college football and NFL predictions as well here on the channel. Folks, thank y'all for watching, and Mamba forever.